Hi students, in this video lecture we will start salts. Before this we have understood acids and bases, right? And we have also studied while doing acids and bases that salts are formed when acid and base react, right? So acid and base react to give you salt and water. This is what we have understood in the previous lectures, right? So I'll just mention it over here. Acid will react with a base to give you salt plus water, right? So let's just take an example, right? Sodium hydroxide is a base which will react with HCl which is an acid to give you salt plus water, right? So if you look at the definition that is in your books, the definition says that salts are formed by complete or partial replacement of hydrogen atoms of dibasic or tribasic acid, right, by a metallic ion or a ammonium ion. So we know what we have done this in acids. In the classification of acids we have studied about dibasic, tribasic, monobasic acids, right? So basicity of acids depends on the number of replaceable hydrogen atoms. If for example sulfuric acid has H2, two replaceable hydrogen atoms, so it's a dibasic acid. Similarly phosphoric acid H3PO4 is a tribasic acid because it contains three replaceable hydrogen atoms, right? For example, and we also know that dibasic acids ionizes in two steps, right? And tribasic acid ionizes in three steps, and monobasic acid ionizes in single step, right? So it says, we'll just concentrate at this part. Salt is compound formed by partial or I just missed here, partial or complete. It says partial or complete, I'm sorry, it's here. Partial or total replacement of ionizable hydrogen atoms of an acid by a metallic ion. So what is partial or total replacement of ionizable hydrogen atoms, right? First we'll understand what is ionizable hydrogen atoms. Suppose this is an acid, right, sulfuric acid, and we know it's a dibasic acid and it contains H2, two replaceable hydrogen atoms. That is, both these hydrogen atoms can react, right, with a metal ion, right, to give you salt, right? And we know that when sulfuric acid is dissolved in water, how will sulfuric acid ionize? Sulfuric acid is a dibasic acid, it ionizes in two steps. So in first step it will form HSO4 minus plus hydrogen ion, right? This is the first step of ionization. In the second step, this bisulfate will also ionize to give you SO4 plus hydrogen ions, right? So this is partial ionization, right, and this is complete or total ionization of sulfuric acid, right? So if we take sodium hydroxide, right, and react it with say sulfuric acid, right, so it will form, right, if we look at the first step, this is partial ionization. That is, partial means when all the hydrogen atoms are not ionized, right? Here only one hydrogen atom ionizes to give you bisulfate ion, right? In the second step both the hydrogen atoms are ionized, right? So when both the hydrogen atoms are not ionized, right, so sodium hydroxide will react with sulfuric acid to give you NaHSO4. Sodium ion has replaced only one hydrogen atom to give you water, right? Similarly, NaOH plus H2SO4, if you look at this step, if sodium hydroxide, right, will replace both hydrogen atoms of sulfuric acid, it will form Na2SO4 plus water. So both these NaHSO4 and Na2SO4 are salts, right. First one is formed by partial ionization of hydrogen atoms, right, and second one is formed by complete ionization of or complete replacement of hydrogen atoms of acid, right. We also call these reactions as neutralization reaction, where this base is neutralizing acid, right. So now you need to consider one thing, you need to remember one thing here, that in the first step where sulfuric acid is partially getting ionized, here this reaction will occur, this reaction will occur when the quantity of base, when base is insufficient, right. So first reaction will occur when base is insufficient, that is base is insufficient, that is why it is not able to ionize or replace all hydrogen atoms of sulfuric acid, right. And the second case, this one here, base is sufficient to neutralize sulfuric acid. Here base is insufficient in the first step, the first reaction, the base is insufficient to neutralize sulfuric acid, right. So it formed this salt. And in the second step, base is sufficient, base is taken in sufficient quantity, base is taken in more quantity, right, compared to first reaction, right. And when base is taken in more quantity, it completely ionizes sulfuric acid, right. It or we say it completely neutralizes sulfuric acid to give you this salt, right. And in this salt we can see that all the hydrogen atoms are not replaced, or the acid is not completely neutralized. So we have one hydrogen atom in the salt, right. So now this is partial replacement of hydrogen atoms, this is complete replacement of hydrogen atoms by it says metal ion came from base, sodium hydroxide, or if it's an ammonium hydroxide, an ammonium ion, that's why it says ammonium ion, right. Now this is salt, and what rest of the thing, what other things we know about salt? These are salts: sodium chloride, right, Na2CO3, right, then we have sodium nitrate, these are salts. So we see that salts, this will ionize to give you sodium, this contain two ions, right. Similarly this contains sodium ion plus chloride ion, and this contains sodium ion plus carbonate ion. So we see that all salts consist of a positive ion and a negative ion. Positive ion is a cation, right, and negative ion we know is a anion. So we say these, what are the compounds that consist of positive ion and negative ion, cation and anion? We have already done this in our previous chapter, chemical bonding. These are known as ionic compounds, right. So all salts are ionic compounds composed of a positive ion and a negative ion, right. And we know that since these are ionic compounds, and we have already studied in chemical bonding that ionic compounds like these consist of positive and negative ions, right, which are held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction. That is, in these ionic compounds, in these salts which are ionic compounds, the positive ion and negative ion, are held together, are attracted towards each other by a very high electrostatic force of attraction, right. Due to this electrostatic force of attraction, these salts are solids, right. And when these salts are dissolved in water, right, when these salts are dissolved in water, right, in water, it breaks up into cation and anion. In solid state, these anions and cations are held together, right, by electrostatic force of attraction. Now, when it is dissolved in water, what water will do? Water will separate this salt into its positive and negative ion. So, in water, salt will separate into positive and negative ion, right, and these are known as, we know what we call it as, these as mobile ions, right. So we say, since salts in water are forming positive and negative ions which are free mobile ions, and we know that it is due to these free mobile ions that solutions of salts are good conductors of electricity. Since salts are ionic compounds, we know that ionic compounds act as good conductor of electricity in water solution. Why? Because water dissociates these salts or ionic compounds into positive and negative ions, which are free ions, right, due to which it conducts electricity, right. So this is clear. Salts are ionic compounds that dissociate in water to give you positive and negative ions, right. In solid state, they are held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction. Just remember all these things. We have covered all these in previous chapters also. And now we will go through. Salt is an ionic compound composed of cation and anions, right. We have covered all these things, right. Now classification of salts. It says we have salt, normal salt, acid salt, basic salt, double salts. So what is a normal salt? Normal salts are those salts which we have studied here, which are formed by complete neutralization or of acid by a base, right. When base was taken in the second reaction, when base was taken in sufficient quantity, it completely neutralizes acid, right, or we say this base replaces both the hydrogen atoms of acid, forming salt and water, right. So in this case, when the salt that is formed by complete replacement of hydrogen atoms, right, and this salt does not contain any hydrogen atom, this is known as normal salt. This is a normal salt which is formed by complete neutralization or replacement of hydrogen atoms of acid by a base, right. So normal salt formed by complete neutralization of acid by a base, or formed by complete or replacement of hydrogen atoms of acid by a base. Here complete replacement of hydrogen atoms of acid means that both the hydrogen atoms of acid are replaced by base, that is by sodium atom of base. Sodium atom of base has replaced both these hydrogen atoms, giving you Na2SO4. You can see sodium atom have replaced both the hydrogen atoms, giving you Na2SO4, right. So salts formed by complete replacement of hydrogen atoms of acid, right, are known as normal salts, right. So what are acid salts? Acid salts are those that are formed by partial ionization of or partial removal of hydrogen atoms of acid by a base, right. Here you can see that in this case the sodium hydroxide could replace only one hydrogen atom, right. So it formed NaHSO4, right. This is a acid salt. Acid salts are, or we can also say that acid salts are formed when base taken is insufficient to neutralize acid. We say that base taken, I have already mentioned this, when base is insufficient to neutralize acid, what result are, this will result into a acid salt, right. And acid salts contain, you can see that acid salts contain hydrogen atom, right, which are ionizable like acids. Like acids are ionized in water solution, similarly salts, acid salts are also ionized to give hydrogen ions, right, or hydronium ions in water solution, and so they behave similar as acids. That is why they are called as acid salts, right. Since they furnish hydrogen ions in water solution, they behave like acids, right. They show all the properties of acids because of ionizable hydrogen atoms, right. So we call them as acid salts. I'll just rub this. You can take all this down. Right. So this is an acid salt. I'll just write it over here. NaHSO4 is an acid salt, right. It contains ionizable hydrogen atom, right, and which ionizes to form hydrogen ion or hydronium ions like acids, right. So these behave like acids because they contain ionizable hydrogen atoms, right. So here the definition of salts: normal and acid salt. Normal salt formed by complete replacement of ionizable hydrogen atoms of acid by metallic ion or base, right. Here I've shown you that both the hydrogen atoms of acid are replaced by sodium hydroxide. Similarly, acid salt formed by partial replacement of ionizable hydrogen atom of polybasic acid. This sulfuric acid is a polybasic acid, and this salt is formed by partial replacement, that is incomplete replacement of hydrogen atom. Only one hydrogen atom is replaced in the first reaction by sodium hydroxide to give you an acid salt, right. So acid salts are formed by partial replacement of ionizable hydrogen atoms, and they contain ionizable hydrogen atom, right. That is why they behave like acids, right. When these salts are formed when base is taken in insufficient quantity. Because base is in insufficient quantity, we have taken less base, right. So that less quantity of base could not ionize this acid completely to replace both the hydrogen atoms of acid, right. So it formed an acid salt. They ionize in water to give hydronium ions, and therefore they show all properties of acids. We have discussed this. Now what are basic salts? Like acid salts contain replaceable hydrogen ions, right. Similarly, basic salts contain replaceable hydroxyl ions, because base means they'll behave like bases. Like acid salts behave like acids, so basic salts behave like bases. So basic salt is formed like, so basic salts, since acids, we have discussed that acid salts are formed by partial replacement of hydrogen atoms of acids. Similarly, basic salts are formed by partial replacement of hydroxyl atoms of bases. Let's see what it means, partial replacement of hydroxyl atoms of bases, right. Lead hydroxide PbOH whole twice reacts with hydrochloric acid, right. So we say partial replacement of hydroxyl ions of bases. Partial replacement means this this hydrochloric acid will replace only one hydroxyl ion in lead hydroxide, forming a basic salt. So Pb, it will replace only one hydroxyl ion, right. So this Cl will combine. This is a basic salt, right, which is formed by partial ionization of hydroxyl ions in bases, right. And you can see it consists of a metal ion, a non-metal ion, and a hydroxyl ion, right. So this we know it's a monoacidic base. So basic salts are formed from di and triacidic bases. Triacidic base would be like aluminium hydroxide, AlOH whole thrice, right? Because we need to have more than one hydroxyl ion. This di and triacidic bases, this is a diacidic base because it contains two hydroxyl ions, right? Similarly, aluminium hydroxide is a trihydric base because it contains three replaceable hydroxyl ions, right? So di and triacidic bases can form these basic salts. Now we have double salts. Double salts are formed by partial replacement of, double salts are formed from two simple salts, right? For example, this potash alum. If we take example of potash alum is K2SO4 dot Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 24H2O. So this is a double salt which is formed from two simple salts. These are two simple salts, right? So this is a double salt formed from two simple salts. So formed by union of two simple salts that dissolve in water and crystallize. So how we form this? We take, since this salt potash alum is formed from potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate. So how do we make these salts? We take solution of potassium sulfate, right? We boil it, right? We form, generally what we do is we form a saturated solution of potassium sulfate. We take a beaker of water, heat it and keep adding potassium sulfate to it, right? And until it forms a saturated solution. Similarly, we make a saturated solution of aluminium sulfate, right? Then what we do is we'll mix both the solution of potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate in one beaker, right? And then we heat the solution, right? Once the solution, the water content becomes half, then we'll allow to crystallize we'll allow to cool it. We'll cool the solution of the solution mixture of potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate, because we have mixed solution of potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate in one beaker, right? Then we started heating it, right? After some time we'll allow to cool it, right? When we'll cool it, this double salt potash alum will form. It will form this double salt, right, on crystallization, right? So I'll just repeat quickly. We take to form a double salt, we take saturated solution of two simple salts, mix them, right? And then again we heat the mixture and then allow to cool it, right? When you cool it, it will form crystals of this double salt, right? Now certain properties of salts are ionic compounds, right? Salts are ionic compounds that conduct electricity in